On the 6th day of February in the year 2023, Francisco Manuel Trejo made it his goal to stun his podcast audience with a spiel that would knock all three listeners' socks off. This spiel was a byproduct of his delusion of grandeur, which began as he witnessed one of the most subpar basic cult films of all time and ended with him contemplating his spiel during a car ride to fetch a lost cable. What you are about to hear is the repercussions of that spiel.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lunchbox Cinema, the podcast that is long enough for us to share our opinions, but short enough for you to listen on your lunch break.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for getting that.
You ruined my spiel. All right, here we go. You gotta let me do my spiel. I practiced this like 20 times in the car.
All right, Lunchboxers.
I got this.
Oh,
All right,
that's
Lunchboxers.
insane. Did we just find our 3-person fan club?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lunchbox Cinema, the podcast that is long enough for us to share our opinions, but short enough for you to listen on your lunch break. And on today's podcast, we are breaking down a movie called Cabin in the Woods. Just kidding. But it is a movie that takes place in a cabin.
Okay,
in the woods.
Listeners, we're not restarting this. First off, listeners,
This was a lot funnier in the car. I was like, this is gonna be hilarious.
He
dude.
was practicing that shit.
Dude, in my head, I was like, dude, Lucy's gonna go, ha ha ha. Victor's
It
gonna
has
do
been
hee
a
hee.
long night just to be in this chair.
All right,
to
I'll just
film
do a normal one.
No, we're still going. This is the intro. You can't back
gonna
out
keep
of this
this.
now.
Look,
we're stuck.
look, it was-
Listen,
no, I'm gonna
It's been a
redo-
long night. We watched a movie about a cult. We ran into a cult, and then
Oh my
I forgot. And then I forgot a lens, and then Frankie forgot a cord.
I've
No,
been here
look-
chilling at the house with Tony. For
Yeah, it was.
Past
Hey,
2
probably
hours.
been-
I
No
feel so
way, You guys have
bad.
been here for 2 hours
Okay, Victor's only here right now because
because of a coin
because of
flip.
chance. Okay. He decided that it was the best option to figure out whether or not we should film tonight or not with a coin flip. We actually have a video of it. I'll show you right now.
So Frankie's an idiot. He forgot the cable. Victor has to wake up early, and he's gonna either make a very testosterone decision right now, or a very wise decision based off of a coin flip. All right, heads. He stays.
Tails are rescheduling. What is it, Tony?
As a matter of fate, I am here.
As a matter
It's a
of
matter
fate.
of fate. Now we're
So-
reviewing Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah. Shut up.
Knock at the cabin.
Intro song. Go.
That was perfect, guys. That was perfect. Okay. First thoughts, initial thoughts. You gave us some thoughts. My wife Kia, we watched the movie with her. She's like not down for demonic stuff. I'm also not down for demonic stuff, and so we
There
just
was no
want
demonic stuff in this movie. Just want to make that clear.
no, but because it's like a horror.
It's not really.
It's
Was it
more like a thriller.
It's a
I'd
thriller.
say thriller.
On AMC, it lists it as Thrills and Chills. So it's like technically
Not so much
categorized.
on the chills.
It's not so much on the thrills or the chills.
Yeah.
But so you mentioned that it's like not demonic, but it's biblical. Elaborate more and just your thoughts.
So I would say that it's biblical in the sense that it's talking about the end times. I guess a little bit spoiler, but not spoiler. So the 4 characters represent sort of the end times.
Emphasis on the 4.
Yes, the 4 horsemen. But my initial thoughts after watching the movie is that the first half really got me, and I was like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? What are these? What's happening in this cabin? And then the second half
In the
sort
woods.
of felt a little short of the setup that the first half did.
Yeah, okay, so the last movie we watched was Predestination, right? I went into that one just kind of ready to enjoy the movie. I didn't really not that I didn't pay attention. I just wasn't very like trying to dissect the movie, and I did the mistake with this one of over dissecting it. So within the first 5 minutes of the movie, there's this scene with the little girl, which by the way, the little girl kills it. I thought
she did a great job.
like great casting. I don't know how old she is, but she killed it. She did such a good job. But within the first 5 minutes of the movie, the little girl's looking at these little insects, and she's got them in this little jar. I don't know if you guys remember the scene. It's like first 5 minutes, and she's
We
got
just watched it. So yes.
yeah. Okay. So, so she's got the jar, right? And I'm over analyzing everything. I'm like, what's wrong with this little girl? Like, why does she got these insects? Why are they in a jar? What's gonna happen, right? So then my brain starts going. I even took notes on I was taking notes. Last time I didn't take notes.
Wait, in the theater? You
Yeah,
were
I was
taking notes?
I was in the theater. I'm
we
like,
both did. I have my notes right
oh
here.
yeah. I was like, little girl has insects in jar. So this is what my brain went to with that, because at that scene she goes, I'm observing these insects or something like that. So my brain this is an alien movie that the aliens are observing these humans, and that's what's gonna get to the end of the world. And that's literally what I thought.
Because this movie wasn't that good, in all of our opinions, what is like your favorite M. Night movies? And where would you maybe rank this movie amongst that?
To be fair, I haven't watched his whole catalog of movies. There's probably like what 15, 16 M. Night
Something.
Shyamalan
I'm
movies.
looking them up right now.
And I probably only watched like 5 or 7 of them.
That's quite a few.
Well, you have to
7?
consider Signs, the one with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
That's Signs.
No, that's not. That's the one with.
Oh
Joaquin
no, that's
Phoenix.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
an
Mel
Oh,
idiot.
the Christmas one.
I'm an idiot. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Is it
Die Hard.
Die Hard?
Sixth Sense is the one with Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
That's another one. Okay.
I've never seen that one, but I know
I
they're
got
all
the list
dead.
pulled up right here. I don't know if you got it too.
I got it too. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, his most recent one, Old.
I didn't watch that one.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
I did too. I thought that one was fun. The end
a good
was like
watch.
meh, but like
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't like super thrilled by the end of that one, but I wasn't also against it either. It was just like, okay, that's how they ended it. Cool. But it was the whole movie was thrilling. Like, oh my god, all these people are just dying.
Families throughout history have been chosen to make this decision. Now, it's your turn.
We're not sacrificing anyone.
For every no you give us, hundreds of thousands will die.
We have to help each other.
Will you make a choice?
So you know what movie really as we're watching this came to mind? Have you guys ever seen the movie? I think it's called The Knowing or The Knowing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
got
Happening?
No,
No. It's called The Knowing, and it's got Nicolas Cage, and it's essentially like an end of times kind of thing. It's got aliens, and essentially like they're trying to find like they're given like this little girl's given like the dates of when things are gonna happen and when the last day of like the end of the world. But I got like that movie gave me a lot of vibes of what this like Knock on the Cabin was. So
It like to his point we were talking about after the movie. It gave you the vibes, and I actually do like The Knowing. A lot of people don't like it,
Yeah.
but like it gave you the vibes and like the thing with like I felt like The Knowing at least gave you a payoff that was understandable.
Yeah.
This one was like you get to the end and it's like wait, it was all real and that's it. Like
yeah,
it didn't pack that punch at the end.
Yeah,
And I agree. No, I think in this discussion about M. Night Shyamalan movies, the whole time I was watching the movie, I was dissecting it, trying to look at where the twist was going to happen and everything like that. And I think to the detriment of this movie is that it has M. Night Shyamalan on it.
Yeah.
Because you are looking for that twist ending. And because it doesn't have it and it just has a pretty straightforward ending that, oh, it's actually all real, it doesn't hit as much as it should have. But if it was a different director, a different person's name attached to that movie, I think the expectations would have been different.
I had that same thought because I'm like sitting there like I don't know. It's almost like for me, you're expecting him to go crazy. You're expecting him to like and he's done some outlandish things like what is it? It was the trees and like all this stuff. Like he's done some like crazy endings, but at least it was like at the end of it, you can be like that was dumb. Like this one, I couldn't even say if it was dumb or if it was good because it just was. And it's like it's almost like he was like. He's so good at, and I wrote this down, like the opening scene when he's like coming up close and personal with you, like it's somehow so stressful to be like at eye level with Dave Bautista, and then like eye level with the girl, because like you can't see your around them. You just see their facial expressions, and you're just kind of like the music, and you're like, this guy's a creep, and this is weird, and like the whole time you're stressed. And it's like all that stuff is like textbook M. Night, and it's like so good, so engaging. And then you get to the very end, and it's just kind of like, it's almost like he just like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna like make the ending actually what it's been the whole movie. And it's like, it sucks because he has kind of dug himself in the hole of like having a crazy twist at the end, and this didn't. But like I would be okay with the movie being what it was if it also felt like he cared about that being the ending. And it really felt like he did. It felt like, and I wrote this down at one point, I was like, is this just like another Left Behind movie, but this time it's M. Night Shyamalan? Like, I'm going to actually be really mad if those people were just like disappearing out of the airplanes and like all this was the rapture, and I'm like over it. So
This movie left me at a spot where I wanted more from it. But if they made a second one, I probably would only go watch it to see a lot of the why questions I had in this first one. So it's like I didn't get any payoff for this one, like you were saying. And the whole time I was even like, we got to the final act, and I was like, we're missing a piece of the puzzle that hadn't been given to us. And Luis, even in the movie, was like, it's coming up. And then it just like never paid off. So it was like this whole movie was building tension the whole time to just leave you in but it wasn't like, it got to a point where I was like, okay, but explain and tell me why. And yeah. So,
well, and like to that, it's like, it was that scene we were having that discussion in that scene when like everyone but Dave Bautista from that weird cult died. And so he walks them outside. He's like, all right, just so you know, you'll have a few more minutes and I'm going to kill myself and then all that. And so they're like, it gets to that moment. And the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like in my head, I'm thinking Dave Bautista is going to kill himself. One of the couples is going to kill one of the couples. Yeah. And then it's going to turn out to all like the cops are going to show up and it's like, it was all a sham. And he's like, what the heck? I was like, if that would have happened, I would have probably been more like that's sick. But that was probably M. Night also trying to like, he like, maybe we expected him to go there and it's like, psych, this is a normal movie. And I'm just like kind of over, it just wasn't, it didn't.
I think I would have preferred that version of the movie where these people were actually crazy and this wasn't the apocalypse and they just ended up trying to torture these people.
You know, like I did think that moment was pretty sweet of like when the daughter clicks the radio and the song comes on and the dad quickly turns it off.
Daddy Andrew.
And then he quickly goes up and turns it off, and then she turns it back on because it's like, oh, this is our song. And when she realizes he's not into it, turns it off, and then he's like, no. That was like a sweet moment. And it definitely built in some areas, but then like it just didn't pay off. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan. I thought the ratings on Rotten Tomato are like at 63, 68.
I would give it that.
Really?
I'd probably be around that range.
I don't know. I would give that maybe for the first half, but the second half fell off so hard for me, I would probably go a lot farther down.
I think it was just because the second half was just more of the first half. No?
Yeah.
Because they just kept continuing that same premise without really it was like there was no. It was like they went to first, second, third, and then stayed in third. Like that's what it felt like. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like our lack of drive. Like, okay, so the last podcast we did, Predestination, which we don't know how we're going to release these. So if you haven't heard it, you should listen to it. But the last one, there was just so much to engage about and stuff. This one was like, oh, it was real.
Yeah.
As much as the apocalypse and
and also, okay, this is maybe I'm a weird cynic for this, but it's also like an R-rated movie. And they set the expectation for the amount of violence and stuff that you get, and then they kind of it almost like they accidentally made this R. It was supposed to be PG-13
because they cut away during everything.
They cut away literally all the the hardcore things that were supposed to it's and psych, we're gonna show you outside the door while everyone screams. It's okay, cool. Why is this R again? It was in that regard, it was accidentally R.
So what I wish that this movie did, that other M. Night Shyamalan movies did, was to really take advantage of the flashbacks. So like with Signs, they did the flashbacks, and each of them, all the flashbacks added to the end sort of action scene with the fighting with the alien and everything like that. But in this movie, M. Night Shyamalan used flashbacks, and I don't think it really added to the ending of the movie. It just showed the relationship.
I agree with you. And I can also see where he was trying, like that scene at the end, again, when he's like, they're doing the radio, like that was him trying to, like he created that moment within the flashbacks. But because everything was just so kind of convoluted and mixed up, I don't think that hit with the audiences that much. Like it hit more with me as I processed it because I realized more so what was happening. But at that point, like I didn't care. It was like I wasn't in the moment with those characters. By that time, I was in the parking lot trying to avoid the cult guy, the actual cult guy. And it was kind of funny. So side note, had nothing to do with the movie. We leave this movie to run over to get, we kind of referenced in the beginning. Me, Frankie, and my wife leave this movie to try to get to here so we can film this podcast. And this dude just pops out of nowhere. It's like, hey, do you want to know about the Lord? And I'm like, yo, I go to church and I work at a church and I love Jesus. He's awesome. And like he's doing this whole thing and we're just going back and forth. And I was just like sitting there and I'm like, how did we get out of how did we find someone weirder than Dave Bautista outside of Plaza Bonita? I was like,
Dude, there was 3 of us. I would have killed you.
Oh my! Funniest thing. Like I'm watching the movie. Okay, this is like one of those things where it's like you got to say the right thing or else you're screwed. I was watching the movie and Kia immediately looks to my left and was like, "Would you kill me?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No. Why would you even say that? Like this is we're all dying together. That's what's happening."
I think that's a good part of this movie is that it gives you that question that's really difficult to answer. If truly that the whole world is at your hands and like you have the option to kill a loved one or the whole world's going to end, like what would you do in that situation? I think it does a really good job in presenting that question, giving the weight to that question. Because it's sort of like the train metaphor, right? Where you're on the train tracks and then you could run into one person or 3 people, and then you go to the other track and you only kill one person. Like which track do you want to go on?
That's a fun game. Have you ever played that game?
No.
It's called no. It's actually this board game. They made a board game version of that just to make people fight and argue. I forgot what the game was called exactly, but basically it's kind of like apples to apples. Like there's 2 teams and you pick cards and you place them down, and what you're trying to do as a team is convince the person who's voting, like the conductor, which railroad to run over. So it's like you get good cards, bad cards, and like modifier cards. And so the good cards is like, would you kill your grandma? And it's like, it's like stuff like that. And then the next one,
running out of ideas for board games.
I would want to play.
No,
that game.
it's so much fun. And then the bad cards is like, okay, Hitler. But like with the bad cards, you put them on the other person's train. So it's like if you get like, so it's like, do you want to kill Adolf Hitler and save your grandma, or do you want to kill? And then, so like everyone's just arguing with each other.
Oh, that's
and
a
then
tough one.
The modifier cards.
Grandma's got to go.
The modifier cards is you can put them on anyone to like add or subtract something good or evil about them. So it's like, yeah, like, okay, it's your grandma, but she's about to go kill a litter of kittens, like with her chainsaw. I don't know. Do we want it? So it's like it did to the point of the movie. It felt like that, and it was really fun, and then it just didn't pay off.
Should we give like a synopsis of what this movie was for those of you who haven't seen it?
Yes,
Or aren't going to see it?
And
They just want to hear us.
Yeah, we're just going to leave that to Victor, though, because he explains things so well. And
right.
I'll just butcher it. So, and I'll probably forget the main character's name, and I'll call the movie Cabin in the Woods. So, go, Victor.
All right, so I'll try and keep this brief. So you have a family. You have Daddy Andrew and Daddy Eric and their adoptive daughter, Wen.
I'm shocked that you remember all
They're
that.
taking a vacation in a cabin in the woods.
5 minutes later.
And that's pretty basic synopsis of what happened. No, I will say about Dave Bautista's character, and Jeanette said it, and I agree. He was like a giant teddy bear, and
For sure.
Oh,
I literally wrote that
he
down.
did
I
a
love
great
it.
job.
I love it. I love Dave Bautista.
It was hard because it's like you saw, regardless of what the point of the movie where you realize the apocalypse was real or not, he believed in the apocalypse, and he also believed that what he was doing was right. Also, like thinking about that, it's like very vague of like why is there an apocalypse? Like, I mean, I guess they kind of like in that description they kind of explain it, but like they got like a teacher, a nurse. What was Rupert? What was
Malice?
Ron? He was just angry.
He was Malice.
Yeah. So they got like the 4 things that like apparently describe all of humanity.
Which is sort of like a twist of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not the exact 1-for-1.
So it's like, okay, that's why, but from where? Like, they didn't even explain like whether it was like a God thing or if it was like it was just like, oh, the apocalypse is happening today. By the way, it's Tuesday and it's supposed to happen by now. You know what I'm saying? It's
And
like,
they didn't really do a good job of why this family was the chosen family. Eric sort of explains it, but I thought it was sort of like a weak explanation.
I don't even remember. It
I
was
wrote down who's in charge. Like,
yeah.
who's like, who's this character that's just like, I'm manipulating everything, and now there's an apocalypse. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And don't get me wrong, there was fantastic, like all the beginning scene. I was loving the beginning scene that was so
It was really pretty.
just pretty and stressful, and like M. Night loves his like weird shots that kind of tell a story too. Like the whole like not using the center screen, but like using the side and going back and forth. All of that was, or and like the shot that was sick, honestly, was when Dave Bautista went up with the hammer and the camera follows the hammer. I was like, this is awesome. And then past that, it was like, I probably would never see this movie again. I will say this though, and this has nothing to do with this movie, but because this was an R-rated quote unquote horror movie, the trailers were stupid. Like, okay. And I say stupid. The main one I'm thinking of is Evil Dead Rise.
Did you guys see that one?
We saw the trailer for that, and I'm like, this is like crazy.
That movie was nuts.
There was more to talk about that trailer before the movie than there was about this actual movie. Because, like, I don't know.
I'm not watching that one.
No, heck no.
All I want is your little head, baby girl. She will take you out.
It was supposed to be a straight to streaming. It was like a Hulu original. And it's apparently so good that they're like, we can't release this on Hulu. Like, so good with the caveat of like, if you're a twisted horror junkie, you would probably love it. And if you're a normal person, you'll probably hate it. And that's exactly what this trailer looked like. I watched the trailer on my phone, and through like the small lens of my phone was like utterly terrified. I was like, I'm not seeing this movie. You've sold me out of it. And so then they play the trailer in the theater, and Frankie's watching it. And the whole time he's like yelling and screaming, and I have my thing covered. And then at one point I was like, I just gotta record Frankie's reaction. So I start recording Frankie in the theater.
That's straight up Satan.
There was a lot of trailers. We sat through 30 minutes
Yeah.
of trailers.
That's the typical AMC.
It's the
30 minutes of trailers.
It's the typical, but like I've also been like, they tricked me. Like we went to go see. They've tricked me a few times. But it's like, oh well, today we're doing 15, and I'm sitting there like, well, I'm never showing up 15 minutes late. And then watching this is making me feel like, well, now I never
could have been fun.
Yeah, like I could have literally like got dinner and like it was just
Could have recorded this podcast.
I could have recorded this podcast in the amount of time that it took. Okay, I have one qualm too about the movie.
Qualm.
And then we can
What a word.
I was like, that scene, it annoyed me so much. Dave Bautista is literally walking around with a dead body, putting the dead body in the, and meanwhile his family is inside the house just chilling. And the other dad has a gun in his hand, and what is his top priority? I'm gonna walk outside and get this dude's wallet.
I remember that.
I'm like, I think in this situation, since your daughter and your husband are like in the house, I think that justifies you maybe taking this guy out to save them, considering he's already like hacksawed ridged like 3 people. There's like no.
You were so annoyed at.
I was literally sitting there like, this guy's in idiot. And then like at one point, like when he missed and he said, I don't kill people, but like he had just killed the girl that ran through the door.
Oh, yeah.
It was just so inconsistent. It was so annoying. At that point too, I checked out because I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like
Well, even after he got the wallet, he didn't confirm. It didn't confirm whether or not it was the guy.
Yeah.
yeah, no, because it said O'Brien, and I think the guy said like it was like something with an R, and then he goes into the car and like he realized that O'Brien was his last name, and whatever the R name started with, that's what it was. Just dumb.
Yeah.
I honestly, this was a dumb movie. I didn't like it. It had a great start and a terrible finish.
Yeah. And on that note, why don't we take this time to describe this movie in 6 words? You got your 6 words, Lise?
I'm just gonna use this because it's in my notes. Literally another Rapture movie. Dumb.
It's really difficult when you have to limit it to 6 words, but Dave Bautista Dave Bautista, Teddy Bear Killer. That's 5. Nope.
Teddy Bear Killer. Dude, great band name. What's up, guys? We're Teddy Bear Killer. All right, it's not a full 6, but I'm not satisfied.
Yeah.
That's
That's
at
fair.
the end of it, I was like, that's what it was. Yeah, this one was a rough one.
I think if you're a Dave Bautista fan and you're going through his catalog, it's one of the movies to watch.
Yeah, I can
yeah.
I can see people liking this movie.
Him and the little girl really killed it.
Yeah.
I would
Their
honestly
performances were amazing.
I think Daddy Andrews is a good performance too.
Zadie Andrews?
Yeah.
Yeah.
they all did good. I'm not like mad at any of the actors or anything. It's just like how do you act
With what you're given.
with what you're like you have to pretend like it's okay to walk away from your family with a gun right now. And
I was annoyed at that guy.
it was so
I was kind of annoyed by him.
that's not the actor's fault. That's just like bad storytelling. Like the whole time I'm sitting there like M. Night was behind a computer screen typing this out thinking this makes sense.
Well, it was based on a book, and the book has a totally different ending.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to know the ending of
Yeah.
that book.
Yeah,
So-
do you know the ending?
The name of the book is
We're going to animate this all for the podcast.
like-
It'll be a whole animation.
Shut up, Frankie. Stop putting more work on me.
I
I don't even know how to animate yet. I'm gonna have to like go in.
So this is a spoiler warning for the book. I think it's called Knock at the End of the World.
Okay.
And
That's also so like that's a cooler title. Than
Yeah,
this.
it
Anyway.
is.
or Cabin at the End of the World, whatever.
Cabin in the Woods? At the end of the world?
So you know how and like the whole fiasco with the third person getting killed, the nurse getting killed, and everything like that in this movie.
Yeah.
So in the book, Gwen actually ends up being in the crossfire, and she dies also.
Oh, shoot.
And so at the end, it's just Andrew and Eric, and they don't choose anyone, and they end up just walking the world forever, as the world ends.
Oh, I would have loved that ending.
I feel like that was so much more engaging
Yes.
than anything else. Wait, where'd you find this?
Did you read the book?
No. And I watched the movie on Friday, did research on this movie and everything like that, and that's what came up.
That's
Okay.
annoying. That would have been so
Oh,
much
that's
more.
such a good ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll animate it for you guys. Don't worry.
Shut up. With that being said, that's about 30 minutes. So if you've watched this whole time, thank you. We
Smash
still
that
have
like button.
We smash that like button. That's gonna be our thing now. Just smash that like button.
Smash it.
Frankie, you just made our Instagram. What is our Instagram?
Yeah. So people for out there that are on the grams and instas,
Lunchboxers.
you're gonna want to go to. So it's Lunchbox Cinema. That's the tag. So Lunchbox Cinema. Lunchbox. Why can't I say it? Lunchbox Cinema. Follow us on Instagram. So far, it's me and Luis on there. So if you want to follow us back,
I think I followed today. No.
oh, so then maybe it's just me and Victor.
You know what's funny? I haven't followed at all.
Okay, but follow us on there. You will start posting stuff on there. Next movie we're gonna start reviewing is gonna be Cocaine Bear. So
It's-
get ready for that.
It may not be the next one, but like we have Cocaine Bear, Ant-Man, Quantumania.
Yeah, we got a lot of good ones.
Whoa, Jojo Rabbit. Super excited about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
We're gonna film that one next week. We don't know the order of any of this, but
yeah. We're gonna watch. Have you guys ever seen Fruit Ninja? That's Daryl's favorite movie.
It's Surf Ninja.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
That was authentic. That was an authentic Cabin in the Woods moment.
Shout out to Daryl. Yeah. So we'll watch Fruity Ninjas.
On that note, thank you for watching. Catch us next time. We got a lot more movies to come up, and hopefully next time they don't suck. So thank you for watching, and catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
And my building out saw nothing but waiting before I got knew nothing but only. Keeping me, and all the times I've fallen short.